This is a CBC podcast.
Every so often, we get a copy of the book to give away as well. In just a few moments, I'll sit down to chat with a lifetime resident of the Central Interior. Clarence Boudreau was born in Penny and raised his own family in the small community near Prince George. Clarence's memoir is being released today, and we have a copy of it, I Heard the Mountain Calling, to give away this morning. So be the first to email us with the subject line Penny, daybreaknorth@cbc.ca. Once again, that subject line, Penny, to enter to win Clarence Boudreau's memoir. And now here is my conversation with Clarence Boudreau. Clarence, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Carolina.
When we last spoke in January, such a lovely story, Clarence. You had just repledged yourself to your wife of 70 years, Olga. And now it's almost your wedding anniversary. What are you doing to celebrate?
You know what? We're not sure yet. We're still working on that. There was plans to put a huge party on at our daughter's in September, but I think we've canceled out on that one, so we're still working on it.
But instead, you have this memoir to celebrate. What was the inspiration to capture the story of your life?
Well, I guess I hate to use the term, but am I allowed to say nagging?
Sure.
Because I was by, especially my one daughter, but the other one joined in, and my wife. I had no intention of writing the book myself at that time. And that's where it started. And they tell me that probably we've got a record there because we got it done in 10 months.
And you were telling me that you, in your first draft, didn't include any punctuation.
Yeah, I was just doing that myself, but of course they rescued me and slid that all up.
So where does your memoir begin?
Well, it starts when I can't actually remember it, but there's a picture in the story about when I was about 6 weeks old, I think, or right freshly just born. And I made history there because we had a nurse come in and I peed in her face.
Oh.
So everything was working.
And this is in Penny that you were born.
That's right, yeah.
So tell me about how big a role the community of Penny plays in this memoir.
I guess a huge role because there's so many stories about Penny and about people in Penny and, all the way up through the years, eh?
So let's go back to your birth and the kids that came afterwards. You've got a story in your book about a visit from the stork. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, yeah, okay. It's, my dad said to my brothers and I, you boys go outside and play now because there's a stork coming and he's going to bring a baby. So we surrounded the house. We covered the chimney and all the entrances. In a little while, we heard a baby crying. And we never did see that stork. And we thought, boy, that's one slippery dude. He got in and out of there. So anyway, we were accusing each other of not manning our stations properly.
And I understand there's another remarkable story in there about taking a building down the Fraser River. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, well, there was 10 of us, and a friend of mine built a nice cedar raft, and we put a tool shed from the CNR and a two-holder toilet on there. And we went down the river. And we went through the Grand Canyon, and of course, CBC met us there with a helicopter and got pictures of us going through the canyon. And the funny part of that story is when we got down to about 10 miles below Sinclair Mills, I guess it would be, we're all sitting there on the raft, and we come around the corner, and all of a sudden, oh my God, somebody put a bridge across the river. Well, that bridge was put there in 1914 when the railroad was built. Not one of us thought of it. And one fellow sitting on the raft, he said, I think we're going to make it under. I said, what makes you think that? And he said, well, I know a logging truck just went across, and I know how high they are. And we've got about that much room. Well, we had a pair of long johns on a pole up above the two-holer, and that was our flying mast, and it got wiped off. And the river had dropped 3 days in the last couple of days. We would have wiped the buildings right off. But like Bob Harkin said, if we make it through the canyon, we'll be on the news tonight. And if we don't make it through, we'll be on the national.
Well, I'm glad you made it through, because after that, many more stories came.
Oh, gosh, yes. Lots of them.
And overall, now that you have the book in your hands, what does it feel like?
Well, I guess it's really good, but also it's a bit disappointing, because having worked on it all that time, now when you sit down, like other people can sit down and enjoy the book, I hope. For us, it's just a repeat, but still we're very, very proud of it. And we're getting a lot of nice remarks about it.
What are people saying?
Well, they're saying that, being 90 years old, it's amazing that I've got such a good memory. And I tell them all, my wife said that my memory is really good, because I can remember things that didn't even happen.
One of the special things, Clarence, about this book is it features people and events in a community that isn't in high profile these days. I mean, not very many people even know about Penny. What do you hope that people will think about when they read this book, about this place where you lived and raised your family?
Well, it's I don't know exactly how to explain it, but the people that come to Penny, like we've got a friend, a doctor from Germany, who just loved coming to Penny, and he says, Penny is different than other communities. Penny has a spirit. He said there's some feeling about Penny, he said, that we really enjoy. And he used to bring his family all the time and come there and spend, a week at a time. And yeah, so I think that the community, if you think back when Prince George was probably about 3,000 people, there was 675 in Penny. It was the second biggest mill town in the interior of BC at that time.
My gosh. Well, you certainly have carried the spirit of the place in all that you've done, and I thank you very much for sharing it as well in this book.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoy the book, and you'll get a much better feel for it when you see all the things that went on there, and quite a bit of humor, too.
It's such a pleasure to speak with you again, Clarence. Thank you for this book. Congratulations, and happy anniversary to you and Olga.
Well, thank you, and remember what your promise was. You said if you're ever in Prince George, you might take the time to come over and see us.
All right. I'm going to be coming that way this summer.
Okay.
I'll get in touch.
Okay, sounds good.
Clarence Boudreau releases his memoir today. It's called I Hear the Mountain Calling. The book will be available at Books & Company and at the railway station.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.